Have you ever built an app that just feels slow? You know, where the user clicks a button and is just left staring at a loading spinner? We've all been there. Well, we're going to fix that. In this explainer, we're going to dive into how you can make your PHP applications feel dramatically faster using PHPWeave's built-in asynchronous tools.
Okay, so let's set the scene with a super common example. A new user, they're excited, they fill out your registration form, they hit that register button, and then nothing. They just wait. The whole interface just kind of hangs for a few seconds, which, in web time, that feels like an absolute eternity.
So what's actually going on behind the scenes? Well, while your user is staring at that spinner, your app is busy doing something else entirely. It's connecting to an email server, it's putting together that welcome message, and it's sending it off. And all the while, your user is just stuck.
That whole email process, that's what we call a blocking task. It literally holds up everything else, but think about it for a second. Does the user really need to wait for that email to be sent before they can start using your app? No way. So let's get into it. Let's unblock your application.
So what's the fix? Well, it all comes down to asynchronous processing, and PHPWeave actually gives us two distinct superpowers to handle it. And these tools are specifically designed to tackle different kinds of slowness and make your app feel pretty much instantaneous to the user.
First up, just a quick definition so we're all on the same page. Asynchronous processing is really just a fancy way of saying doing stuff in the background. It's like telling your app, hey, go take care of this slow thing, but please don't make the user wait around. Let them get on with their day and just get it done when you can.
So here they are, our two superpowers. On one hand, you've got background jobs. These are perfect for tasks that can totally happen later, like that welcome email we talked about. The main goal here is to make the user experience feel lightning fast. And on the other hand, you have concurrent requests. This is for when your app needs to grab data from a bunch of different places at once. Here, the goal is to make the application's back-end itself faster. See? Two different problems, two different tools.
All right, let's dive into our first tool, background jobs. This is all about boosting that user-facing responsiveness by just offloading any work that doesn't absolutely need to happen right this second. So what kind of work are we talking about here? Well, all the usual suspects, really. Things like sending emails, crunching images after a user uploads them, generating those big, chunky PDF reports, calling some slow external API, even just writing detailed logs. All of these are absolutely perfect candidates to be pushed into the background.
Now, PHPWeave gives us three main ways to handle these jobs. First, there's the fire and forget approach, which is awesome for simple one-off things. Then, you have queue jobs, which is a much more robust system for your complex or critical work. And finally, there's defer execution, which is really for those small cleanup tasks you want to run the very instant after the response has been sent to the user.
Now, here's the key trade-off, right? Fire and forget is just incredibly easy. Zero setup. But it's not reusable, and the error handling is pretty limited. The queue system, on the other hand, it requires a little more setup, you need a worker process running, but in return, you get reusable jobs, automatic retries, and proper error handling. And that stuff is absolutely essential for your mission-critical tasks. Okay, on to superpower number 2, concurrent requests. This one tackles a completely different kind of bottleneck. This isn't about the user waiting anymore. This is about your application being stuck waiting on data from other services, like a bunch of external APIs. This timeline shows how most apps have traditionally worked. Let's say you're building a dashboard. First, you ask for user data, and you wait 150 milliseconds. Then, once that's done, you ask for product data, and you wait another 150 milliseconds. You see the pattern? The delays just stack up, and your total time is the sum of all those individual waits. But with concurrency, we completely flip the script. The total time you wait is no longer the sum of all the requests. Instead, it's just the time it takes for the single slowest request to finish. That's a huge shift in thinking. All the other faster requests, they complete while you were waiting on that one slowpoke anyway.
And this chart, wow, this just brilliantly illustrates the impact. This is a real benchmark, showing the time it took to fetch data from 5 different APIs. The old way, one by one, took 450 milliseconds. The concurrent way, just 148 milliseconds. That's over 3 times faster, and usually it's just a tiny change to your code.
And the library that powers all this is it's really well designed for ease of use. You get true concurrency with a simple, clean API. And probably the best part? It has 0 external dependencies because it just uses the curl extension that's already built right into PHP. It even handles stuff like decoding JSON for you. It's just nice.
Okay, so we have these two awesome tools. We've got background jobs and we've got concurrent requests. But the million-dollar question is, when do you use which? Let's break it down with a simple guide.
You know, I love this analogy because it makes the difference so clear. Think of a restaurant. A background job is like a waiter taking your order and handing it off to the kitchen. The waiter doesn't just stand there and wait for the food to cook, right? No, they go and serve other tables. Concurrent requests, though, that's like that same waiter grabbing your drink, the bread, and the cutlery all in one super efficient trip to the service station instead of making 3 separate, slow trips back and forth.
And here it is, laid out in a simple cheat sheet. If you need to send that welcome email, it can happen later. So you use background jobs. But if you need to build a dashboard right now by hitting 3 different APIs to render the page, you use concurrent requests. The deciding question you should always ask yourself is, does this need to happen before the user sees the next page, or can it happen later? It's that simple.
So by picking the right tool for the job, you can pretty much eliminate these common bottlenecks and build applications that feel incredibly fast and responsive. The real question isn't just about performance, though. It's about what new features, what better experiences you can now build for your users with all that time you've just saved.